Good day and welcome to Sparks, Maryland, and a beautiful day for some all-star lacrosse as we're here at U.S. Lacrosse headquarters for the IWLCA all-star games. We start with Division IIIs here on the women's side. I'm Dave McHugh alongside Monica Moore as we get ready for what is a beautiful day. Perfect to kind of wrap up the lacrosse season, as it were. Championships handed out for the most part last weekend. Now we just get to have some fun.
Absolutely, and looking down the rosters for this event, it is so impressive, the stat lines that you see for these athletes. It is great player after great player. They have done a phenomenal job assembling these teams. I cannot imagine anything more fun today than watching these college athletes compete one last time.
These two teams will be coached by some of the best coaches in the country, but they also have some of the best players, as Monica said. I almost feel bad for the goalies, Monica, because the goalies have this scenario where they really want to shine, but they're facing some of the best offenses in the country.
They are, but you look at the stat lines for these goalkeepers. You have Megan Nemeth from Fairleigh Dickinson. You look at the numbers she's put up over her career. First goalkeeper in program history to record 600 career saves, ending her career with a school record of 610. And then on the other side, you have players like Brianna Rosari, who finished her career at Nazareth with 570 saves, including 172 this season. So I understand that we have a lot of talent out on the field, but these goalkeepers are some of the best in Division III women's college lacrosse, and it is going to be a treat to see them go up today against these powerful offensive attacks.
A couple notes I noticed in pregame. One, there was no stick check. Apparently we're not going to worry about the rules. That's an all-star game. Second of all, points to the north. They lined up in numerical order. The South just kind of random, and nothing against Kim Williams, but she also put 13 players on the field. I think she's trying to get an advantage in an all-star game. It's a little concerning as we're underway. South team is in the whites with the dark blue numbers in the front, light blue numbers on the back, another thing we noticed in pregame. And the North team is in the blue uniforms with white numbers, and, of course, it's the South team on offense to start. It is 30-minute halves, running clock, no matter what. It will not stop with a 5-minute halftime. We've got other all-star games to get to today, too. Shot, and we start
and that's Steph
with
Colson,
a save.
Right there. She is a player I've watched numerous times throughout her college career, one of the most impressive players in Division III, and you can't even really say that in this game because there's so many impressive players out on the field. But when you think about what she did over her career, was named the Division III Player and Midfielder of the Year last year in 2018 as a junior.
And, of course, a save by Abby Smith, who's starting in goal for the North. Starting in goal for the South, I believe, is Hannah Ashby, the Mary Washington grad. And it is Ashby who is holding her line steadily there as she's going to take a first shot. She makes her first save. Well done so far by the goalies. It makes our point about them in pregame apropos.
Absolutely, and that's certainly what we expected today. And this is Colson right here who picked up the ball and will help her team advance the ball down the field. But these goalkeepers, they have faced the best of the best all year long. They see it in practice and are certainly prepared for all the talent they're going to see out on the field. And I think a great way to start an all-star game with 2 saves, 2 different goalkeepers, really showing their mettle.
All other rules technically apply today. Of course, that's for all 3 games. I joke about the stick check.
Great cut by Colson just to the outside, but you could see right there covering it was Abby Smith. Read it very well for the North team.
So North stays on offense, and we get a whistle. I think the possession clock had not been reset and run properly or something to that degree.
Well, I think they reset the shot clock, and they should not have.
Right.
Off of Colson's shot. Goalkeeper did not touch it.
We had the perfect angle, just missed the outside post as that ball's turned over in the middle, and off we go. In the other direction, we are here in Sparks, Maryland, which is north of Baltimore, if you're not familiar, here at the U.S. Lacrosse headquarters. We're at the highest point for at least a couple miles around.
Hetty Veith doing a nice job for the blue team. And, of course, we saw Hetty Veith play
Yes.
last weekend. Dave and I both. She plays for Tufts, who competed in the national championship semifinals. Veith, of course, the NESCAC Defender of the Year. And if you know anything about Division III women's lacrosse and the NESCAC.
Oh, did you mention NESCAC?
What an honor that is. That
Yeah.
tells you the caliber of player that Hetty Veith is. And, of course, Hetty Veith out of St. Stephen's, St. Agnes, a very well-known high school program in Alexandria, Virginia.
She's an economics major and along with community health. So she's a double major at a NESCAC school, which is some of the best liberal arts colleges in the country, playing Division III sports for non-scholarship. Yeah, I think she's pretty accomplished.
Well, and that was one of the things as we were preparing for this game and just reading about all these players, all their lacrosse achievements were staggering.
Oh!
What a goal.
Great job by Bray. Or correction, that's Adamak.
Adamak.
Should have known. See, I don't recognize Adamak. She's not wearing the 2-7 I've been used to over the last few years. But yeah, Dakota Adamak with a gorgeous goal there and a great cut on top of that.
Not only is she Hetty Veith's teammate,
Yeah, by the way.
NESCAC Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, Tufts ended up finished ranked 3rd in the country. First ever trip, as you mentioned, to the semifinals, along with Wesleyan, who's the head coach of the South team, is Courtney Shute, the Wesleyan head coach. But, you talk about the NESCAC, Middlebury again winning another national championship. We'll talk about that later in the game. But the NESCAC, there's times 8 teams will be ranked in the top 25. It's just that good and deep a conference, as once again the South trying to have 13 players on the field.
And Dakota Adamek now in the draw control circle. No rest for the weary. 2-time NESCAC Player of the Year. She was also the March 27th IWLCA National Player of the Week. Just to give you a sense of the season that Dakota Adamek had this year for Tufts, a big part of that success. And speaking of Tufts, they are also represented here today by their head coach, Courtney Shute from Tufts, NESCAC Co-Coach of the Year. We got to speak with her a little bit last weekend. Everything that she did with the Jumbos this year, so impressive. How she has just raised that program to new heights, and I think everyone is really excited to see what is going to happen next year with the Jumbos.
Pass in front of Maddie Bray, unsuccessful. You're right, and she's done an amazing job. And I misspoke. Kim Williams is the Wesleyan head coach. She's on the field on the other side, coaching the cutting coat. I seem to decided to leave the speaking skills to last weekend as we're underway. This is just a wonderful facility, though, to play lacrosse. These players getting a chance to wrap up their careers. Again, this is an all-senior all-star game. Nobody under the senior class due to the kind of the perks and coverages of travel and all that stuff. You can't give that to underclassmen or they lose their eligibility. So this is the seniors' swan song, as it were.
But as we were talking about before the game, I mean, how do you pick between all the talent in Division III lacrosse, and then you see the choices that were made and you understand how difficult it was because the stat lines for these players are just unbelievable. The company that they're in, and Adamek.
Oh, she's showing off now.
She's getting the double team.
You think the opposite team doesn't have a scouting report on Adamek possibly from their head coach?
Jess Lyons doing everything she can on defense. That's Jess Lyons out of Catholic University, 3-time All-Landmark Conference and 2-time IWLCA All-Chesapeake Region.
Yeah, Catholic finished 10th ranked in the final IWLCA rankings. They certainly have come along as a program.
This is Gibbons with possession out of Haverford.
Gibbons, of course, a Baltimore, Maryland native. Not that far down the road. Went to Garrison Forest. Might see a few locals, as it were. They didn't go very far for this game. That's definitely where IWLCA can save some money. A lot of this great talent coming out of this Baltimore area.
Nice defense once again by the white team.
This is
causing the turnover, quickly getting the ball over to Lyons once again. And what a great clear over to Holly Height. Yeah,
Lyons to Height. Great job. Height out of Meredith College. Pass on ahead to Bray. Bray passes it on, and the South has its first score coming from Height. The Apex, North Carolina native
South goal, score by number 11.
gets the goal.
League records in match, season, and career draw controls, ranked 5th nationally across all NCAA divisions with 568 career draw controls, and she can score goals as well. Holly Height out of Meredith in North Carolina.
Yeah, Meredith, an all-women's school. One of, I never remember the exact count, but it's about 15 or 20 in Division III. I might be overestimating that number. I should know it better than I do.
Well, and we should talk about Kelly McGinnis in the draw control circle right now from Lycoming College, earning her 3rd straight first-team All-MAC Commonwealth honor. But here's the thing. Set the NCAA's all-divisions record for draw controls in a season.
Yeah, insane number is, guess what?
239 draw control wins. That is unbelievable when you think about the fact that even if you're in the circle, you don't necessarily get the win.
No.
You're counting on those players on the circle. So a lot of people get confused by that in women's lacrosse. But just because you take the draws doesn't mean you get the stat. But Kelly McGinnis got 239 possessions for her team this year. Unbelievable.
Well, and staying pace with her was Holly Height, 222. They destroyed the record in Division III, which was 189. The D1 record was somewhere a little over 200. I don't remember the exact number. And by the way, she did it in 16 games.
Unbelievable. Again, these coaches spoiled a little bit today.
Just
with
a bit.
These athletes out on the field. The best of the best. We're going to get a turnover right there. And, of course, these players very loose today. This is fun. They know a lot of the competition out on the field, not just from their college careers, but from high school tournaments.
Oh, sure.
Club games.
Yeah, coming up through the youth rankings, especially from a common area,
So
whether it be Long Island.
A culmination.
Yeah.
Of all those years of hard work, all the talent, and just knowing what we know about so many of these players, you have to imagine a lot of them will be in the coaching ranks, whether it's at the college level, the high school level, and what a great interception right there by Julia Golden out of Christopher Newport.
Chantilly, Virginia native. By the way, I should point out, I saw Abby Smith sneaking out of cage, going behind, trying to play the extra defenders. We get another turnover at midfield, and picking it up is Farrell, Lindsay Farrell out of McDaniel College. By the way, you may not recognize the numbers of these players if you've been watching them for 4 years of their career, maybe 5. It's because it's a little impossible to guarantee numbers, that they basically hand them out alphabetical by position. So the top attack's got number 1. Top goalie's got 21, by the way.
Obviously, they don't know who's going to be available. Some of these
Shot
rosters,
goal.
as we get another goal.
Maddie Bray
having a great game. No surprise, she led her team, Rowan University, with 69 goals this past season, 81 points. And, of course, Colson's going to get the assist
your friend
on that goal.
Very impressive passing. As these two teams will go back to the draw yet again, 2-1 South leading North here at Tierney Field on the top of the hilltops here in Sparks, Maryland. Gorgeous U.S. lacrosse facility where IWLCA makes its home. Thus why the IWLCA All-Star Game is held here. Hope you're enjoying it here on IWLCA TV.
And, of course, speaking of Colson, she is now going to be in the draw control circle. So Courtney Shute, of course, with a massive luxury here. She's got to figure out working these players in and out of the circle because she's got so much talent, as does, of course, Kim Williams. But it will be Steph Colson now in the draw circle competing against Kelly from Illinois Wesleyan.
Colson went to Gettysburg, who finished 5th ranked, of course, with two-time defending two-time champs in Division III until being upset by Wesleyan in the quarterfinals this year. Of course, she grew up from Westminster, so she literally went about 30 minutes north to college. She is a health sciences major with a minor in education, by the way. Again, just the depth of these student athletes who also know that after this, it's more about the professional ranks in the workplace than it is about professional ranks in sports. As it is 2-1
Excellent
South.
defense once
Yeah,
again
great defense.
by the white team. That's Martha Hutzel, another player we are very familiar with from last weekend at the National Championship Finals, who plays for Salisbury. And we were so impressed with Martha Hutzel on the circle last weekend because we weren't sure how Salisbury was going to compete with Middlebury in the draw control circle.
They did really well.
They found a way, and Martha Hutzel is such a huge part of that draw control unit for Jim Nestor.
Well, Salisbury struggled in that category a lot this season, especially early on. And when we saw Middlebury in the semifinals, we're thinking, there's just no way they're going to compete. They were actually leading that category for a good portion of the game. Yeah. So, Hutzel, a big part of that reason, as we actually get a free position called in this game. And so it looks like that is that Farrell?
It is Lindsay Farrell out of McDaniel.
Just down up the road in Westminster, about 30 or so minutes west of our location, depending on how you drive.
What a pass.
Oh, no, what a goal. Catch it high, shoot it at the hip. It's Gretz out of Rowan with the goal, the NJAC midfielder of the year.
Taylor Gretz.
She had 35 goals, 10 assists on the season. But what's so impressive, she's one of these midfielders. You just look at the stat line, and it's staggering. In addition to the offense that she provided, she had 75 ground balls, 38 calls, turnovers, and 100 draw control wins. She was the NJAC midfielder of the year, and with those numbers, you can certainly understand why.
Of course, the NJAC, the State School Conference of New Jersey Athletic Conference.
So it's going to be Colson
very competitive
back in the circle for the South.
And go straight up. She was going up against Rain Kelly out of Illinois Wesleyan again. Illinois Wesleyan, of course, the example of how the game is shifting west in the Mid-Atlantic.
So much fun. We were
Midwest.
talking this weekend at the Division III tournament. There were several players who are from Oregon.
Yes.
On the rosters, and really just to see how far the game has advanced west, and now you get these players who are competing at the highest levels from areas of the country where you used to not see a big lacrosse presence. It is so exciting. What
nice
a save.
Save from Smith on the hip shot from McGuire. McGuire out of Sparta, New Jersey, the Mary Washington grad. Of course, Mary Washington located just north of where we were calling the championship last weekend. The championships were in Ashland, Virginia, and just north of that is Fredericksburg, Virginia. That's where University of Mary Washington is located. Nice pass in front, shot, and staying with it was Ashby on the nice little quick shot there from Gibbons, the Haverford graduate.
These goalkeepers.
Yeah, apparently they decided to show up.
Phenomenal. I know their school's really sad to be losing them. Abby Smith, of course, out of York College, very well-known program.
30 minutes north here. It's something about our location. A lot of colleges
we
are
in the
area.
hotbed. And, of course, that's absolutely why U.S. Lacrosse is here.
Yeah.
Because of where we are situated. And another opportunity here for the blue team.
Oh,
this
boy.
is Annie Sullivan from Tufts as well. There's a huge Tufts presence here today. Nice idea. She was looking for Mackenzie Kelly.
I got to mention her because she's got the major. While they all jump out at me, Monica, hers blew my mind. Quantitative economics and a double major in mathematics. So she didn't have enough with just quantitative economics, which I don't even know what that could possibly be. She added in mathematics.
All that on top of being a standout lacrosse
Thank you.
player. When I spoke to Courtney Shute last weekend about Annie Sullivan, she was telling me, when she heads to cage, she is unstoppable. She plays as hard as anyone on the field.
All-star game, we're calling offsides.
Everything.
Yeah.
For her squad. And when you look at her as just an all-around student athlete, it is the very definition of the word.
Yeah.
And you could say that for all the players here today.
They all excel. They're all on all academic teams, or a lot of them are, on top of being all region or all Americans and all stars.
Jess Lyons on defense once again. We have talked about her quite a bit. Again, the midfielder out of Catholic.
Yeah, Lyons making her presence known.
All 22 games this year for Catholic and led her team 56 goals, 83 draws, 33 calls, turnovers, 48 ground balls. Again, these midfielders, you look at these stat lines.
Pass. Oh, good idea. As Hughes tried to hit Adamak. Not happening. So we go the other way.
Holly Height looking up the field. And unfortunately, will turn the ball over. She was looking for Mackenzie McGuire.
You might notice on the far side there, Molly Tice out of St. John Fisher. She's got a big cast on her left arm. You said it earlier. It's an all-star game. She's going to play.
She's going to play. And these players, they have hearts of a lion.
Absolutely.
We were talking last weekend. It was, I believe it was Wesleyan's goalkeeper.
Yes.
It was had injured herself in practice. I think she had a fractured thumb. We did not learn about it till after the contest.
Yeah, the
and
by the way comment.
Had talked about how great she had played, what a standout effort. We knew she'd been injured.
Oh, great third pass, low shot, and stayed with it.
That's Adamek with the shot, the big-time save.
How in the world did Ashby stay with that?
Goalkeeper Ashby, I am so impressed with her.
Ashby putting on a clinic. Adamek made a beautiful shot, and you and I have seen one of the greatest shots ever on this field. Adamek had a beautiful idea on the third passing attempt, I should add. And Ashby's like, yeah, whatever, I got it. Incredible. That's why Mary Washington was so good this season, finishing 11th in the IWLCA final rankings. Had a standout season in what is a very challenging Capital Athletic Conference. Quick shot in front. Doesn't happen. Of course, I should say very competitive yet constricting Capital Athletic Conference. They only had 6 conference games this year after losing 2 members, Marymount and Wesley. They will lose
defense.
They will lose 1 more in lacrosse and 2 members overall next season as Frostburg moves up to D2, though their application is still pending. And Penn State Harrisburg, who does not have women's lacrosse, is moving to the NEAC. The conference is getting smaller, but it means it's getting tougher. Christopher Newport, Mary Washington, Salisbury. Did we mention Salisbury? St. Mary's and Southern Virginia is
I do want to mention
now.
The excellent defensive play by Sabrina Solo from Amherst on the other end of the field to get this possession.
Forget it. You got to wait a minute as another goal scored for
Maddie
the North
Hughes
here.
Out of Franklin and Marshall.
10, Maddie Hughes.
By the way, it's about 45 minutes too. I'm more like an hour from us. Just so many schools.
27th goal of the year right there for Maddie Hughes.
Oh, you're keeping track?
26 on the season at Franklin and Marshall to go along with 14 assists. That was a nice high shot out of the midi.
Yeah, Hughes, a joint studies major at Franklin and Marshall for the Diplomats. Of course, a storied program in their own right. And that's the thing. You mentioned the NESCAC. You also have the Centennial, and you have the CAC, of course, represented well here. Those are 3 conferences that are so difficult to compete in. Now, Gettysburg, the 2-time defending champs, as we said, coming into this season in the Centennial Conference, made that conference so hard, but they didn't have it easy. You know, they had some competition from F&M and the likes.
This is Arbs on the draw. And it is won by her squad and Aaron Dugan.
Oh, it was Dugan.
Dugan, another player out of Catholic. They have great representation here today, which just tells you so much about their team. Dugan, 4-time All-Landmark Conference. One of 6 players to start all 22 games this season for her team.
In front, shot, great effort there.
Unstoppable.
From McGuire.
South goal, score by number 4.
That'll probably go in unassisted. And you talk about Catholic, of course, being in the Landmark Conference. What's really interesting is they kind of started what is now the CAC constriction, even though the CAC got bigger. Catholic and Couch are leaving. It's almost started the trend. So it's interesting.
Let's talk about McGuire for a second.
Yeah,
she just scored an amazing goal, but she's known for handing out the assists. She had 37 goals this year, a great number. 60 assists for the University of Mary Washington.
Really great field awareness if you talk about McGuire. And even taking the opportunity there to score. She's going to be missed by that Eagles unit for sure. Of course, clock is running. Go ahead.
Staying in the draw control circle for the blue squad, and why not, given her staggering numbers. And I have a great line for you here, Dave, that you're going to love about Adamek, because we didn't learn this about her last weekend. So when she was in high school,
I thought we knew everything.
Varsity diving, varsity skiing, varsity lacrosse, of course, in addition to participating in taekwondo and Gaelic football at John Jay High School.
Gaelic football?
That is what the information
I mean,
on
the rest is impressive, but Gaelic football is insane.
I don't think there's that many players here who have that in their resume, so I wanted to bring that up for Dakota Adamek.
Shot in front, missed by Grapevine. which I love the name Grapevine. Anna Mac, no, she's proving how much of an all-around individual she is. A biology major, by the way. Gaelic football, that one's going to stick with me.
I had not seen that before in
I
all my
haven't.
years of doing this and following so many of these student athletes, and just how impressive, how diverse they are.
Mackenzie Kelly got tripped up by the ground monster there. Hummelstown, Pennsylvania native. Turns it over. We're heading the other direction. Oh, great cutoff defense that time from Solo.
And the goalkeeper.
Yeah, well out.
Out of the cage.
We saw
This
a
is
lot of that
Abby
last
Smith,
weekend.
Again from York College.
Look at the speed from Gretz. Oh, and nearly picked off.
Way to take advantage. The white team could not capitalize.
No. Of course, the white team, the South All-Stars. If you're just tuning in, the blue team is the North All-Stars here for Division III. North being coached by Courtney Shute, South being coached by Kim Williams.
Again, both of those coaches were at championship weekend.
Yep. They had something to focus on last week. Unfortunately, both of them losing in the semifinals and what you and I described, kind of the old guard versus new guard. Salisbury and Middlebury representing kind of the old guard in Division III women's lacrosse. Pass in front, nice try, but the new guard kind of being represented, granted out of the NESCAC, but still out of Wesleyan and Tufts, who had never been there before. Both those coaches, and that's why they're here, I think, this weekend, is they brought those programs.
I wanted to talk a little bit more about Kim Williams, who I'm so impressed with. Of course, she takes her team to the Final Four for the first time.
That one just misses the post from the shot from Doctor.
She's coaching the All-Star game, Division III. She had a baby.
I know where you're going with it, yeah.
2 days before the lacrosse season started. Talk
Yeah.
about a woman who does it all. Kim Williams,
Proven you can
out
do
of
it all.
Wesleyan, and upsets the two-time defending national champions in the quarterfinals.
3-0 run in the quarterfinals. 2 lightning delays. I think she called up Mother Nature for a little bit of help. And they did amazingly well in the tournament, represented themselves extremely well.
Chelsea Orban here.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a free position here. She was 15 of 26 in this category this season. Why not? Gets another one here to make it 5-2 South.
She had 57 goals on the year for Montclair State. 9 assists, 19 ground balls, 13 calls, turnovers. She scored in 17 of 18 games this year and recorded 3 or more goals 11 times.
That's pretty impressive for this Long Valley, New Jersey native. She wore number 26 in her career, so close in the 6th jersey, close. Light breeze now blowing, makes the day even better. It's a little hazy, but otherwise perfect.
So the North team's going to go back with Kelly in the draw control circle, and I believe that's Sophie Bass out of Albright College for the white team.
It is. Yep. I heard her, she put on her uniform, of course, it's white with light blue, and she said, it feels weird. Albright's red. She said, it's not red. I heard her actually say that. I'm like, yeah, that's a drawback. I understand.
It's hard after that.
Yep.
It's been your whole life for 4 years
Red
to switch to
blue.
To something else.
Blue's represented by some of your rivals. You know, it's kind of weird to wear the colors. Got a good crowd on hand, by the way. Should point that out. 4 minutes left here in the first half of what is a running clock. Oh, a little whistle of a shot over the top crossbar there. Swaskowski
out of Skidmore College.
Swaskowski's got the easiest city name here, Rye, New York. Oh, good back check there from Gibbons to pop the ball free. So the North will stay on the attack here. Again, running clock, 30 minutes, not stopping for anything, no stick checks after goals. I mean, it's an all-star game, folks. We just want them to have some fun out there, and they certainly have shown that with 7 goals so far tallied. Oh, just missed it on the pass to Avery Murphy, out of Cabrini.
And this is Culver with possession
Oh,
for
spin.
the blue team,
Oh,
trying to
great
work
D.
her way inside. As you said it, great defense. As Madison Schutz out of Washington College
I heard
coming up
Schutz
with
fan
the
base
ball.
here earlier.
Female recipient of Washington College's 2019 Senior Athletic Award for achieving the most in athletics at
That's
Washington
impressive.
College.
Washington College on the eastern shore of Maryland. They got one of the cooler mascots and logos, the Shore Women, but they're represented by the goose, which is predominant in their area.
So
there.
very appropriate.
Their mascot's actually kind of shaped like Maryland in reverse, if you flipped it. But it looks like a goose. If you look, it'll make you think. And then it's all dressed up in the colors and look of the Maryland flag.
I always learn things when I work with you, Dave.
That's right.
and
Here we are.
You always make me think about things.
That's all right. We're going to be leaning towards you by the end of the day. I'm just warning you now. As we continue here with about 2:20 left to go in this first half of the Division III Women's All-Star Game here for the IWLCA. Of course, seniors only.
Wow.
Oh, come on.
What a difficult shot to have to convert. That was excellent defense, but an even better find. And then the goal scored by Maddie Bray, who is having a fantastic all-time All-Star game. Cecily Doctor is going to get the assist. Now, she is another player out of Washington College. So let's talk about her for a minute. 2019 Thomas Reeder Spedden Medal for academic standing and achievement in athletics.
Doctor's got the perfect name, by the way, but she's a business management major out of Wellesley, Massachusetts. Interesting, I mean, to go to Washington College, and she's surrounded in Massachusetts with nothing against Washington College. It's a great institution, but there's some amazing institutions just in her backyard. Shows you sometimes the decisions that athletes or students will make about the education they want or the opportunities they want to go to Washington College.
Well, and you also can't discard if you feel comfortable at a place. If
Absolutely.
you feel like you're going to succeed and excel, how you feel about the coach of the program, how you feel about their style of
Good
play,
point.
and how you're going to fit into their rotation.
Absolutely accurate. Those of you on the Eastern Shore tuning in, hope you're doing well on this beautiful Saturday. Are those up in New England as well?
Colson has the ball knocked away. Great defense out of Sabrina Solo, again out of Amherst.
Pass in front, a little too tight to the body. North picks it up. They got 38 seconds to get up the field, maybe get a tally here to cut the deficit to within half.
Stopel out of Roger Williams.
I didn't know what to think of this game. I've called a number of All-Star games in my career. I'll say early on, this game has very much the feel of a real game.
Absolutely.
It's outside of maybe some tight calls from the officials or letting them play a little bit. Maybe some not extra hits. I haven't seen a lot of hits. No stick to the halo call yet here today. 10 seconds, less than. Ooh, good idea. A little too tight there for Kelly. And that will run out the clock here in the first half. One half is done of the Division III Women's IWLCA All-Star Game. Here's the good news. They're playing today. Last year they didn't get that opportunity necessarily, and they are through one half here with a 6-2 lead. We're going to be taking a moment here to give ourselves a break, but give you a tour of this fine facility, especially if you ever want to come and visit. We'll be back in a bit, maybe with some highlights. The South leads the North here in the Division III All-Star Game, 6-2 on IWLCA TV. Welcome back here at halftime of the Division III Women's Lacrosse All-Star Game between the North and the South, comprised of 22 players on each team. It is 6-2 South in this occasion, and Monica, as we expected. There's a lot of great play out there today.
There's a lot of great play, but you look at the score and you have to talk about these goalkeepers.
Yeah, it
well,
should be a lot
I know we
higher.
started off the program talking about the goalkeepers, so maybe I should focus somewhere else. But I was really – this is an all-star game, some of the best in Division III women's college lacrosse, and we saw some great saves in that first half of play. I expect we're going to get goalkeeper changes for the second half, and I expect that to continue. Also very impressed with the way that these players are working together. They get a bit of a walkthrough, a little bit of practice time together, but not very much time, but really it has looked like they've been playing together for quite some time.
Cohesive units, to say the least. Yeah, we are having a goalie change for the South now. It is Brianna Rosari going in from Nazareth, and for the South it'll now be Megan Namath from FDU Florham entering the cages. You got to feel bad for Namath and Rosari because Ashby and Smith put on a clinic out there today. That's going to be a tough one to compare to, but
well, in some respects, I think the people you feel bad for are these coaches, because how do you manage all this talent? You want to make sure everybody gets good minutes, gets a good experience and opportunity here.
I'm noticing they're by themselves. They don't even have assistants with them. Maybe one going, hey, okay, X time, let's get some subs in. When I coached, I appreciated my assistant telling me, keep track of time to get a guy in or something. So I'm impressed they're doing it themselves. I wonder what the scouting reports, though, look like. Shot just over the cage there. I believe that one from Culver.
One of the most lethal offensive threats in Christopher Newport program history. Third in the conference with 59 goals this year.
Flag is up. Save as coming off the bench comes Namath, and she gets the save. 9.24 goals against average. The 54.5 save percentage for FDU Florham out of the MAC.
First time All-MAC Freedom goalkeeper, and she's all over it today.
Good start.
First goalkeeper in program history to record 600 career saves, as we have already talked about. Also tied the school record with 9 ground balls in games against Moravian.
Yeah, that's a lot of ground balls
for a goalkeeper. And that just tells you the way she plays. Very active goalkeeper.
Well, and ground balls are harder to come by in women's lacrosse because it has to be a change of possession for that ground ball. Men's game, you can lose the ball, and they were going to call a ground ball if it's been on the ground for a short period of time. Women's game, it's literally got to change possession.
Goal.
And
my goodness.
Come on. Hold on. Referee might not love it. Doesn't. They're going to call a call. Off. Yeah, going to wave it off. You know who that was. Well, no, they're giving it to Fegan.
Okay, so they're going to say maybe foul before the shot. And this is Courtney Fegan.
Yeah, I think we saw her play incredibly well last weekend for the Seagulls. Bounce shot and in.
Doesn't matter. Courtney Fegan. No. So for anyone who watched the Division III championships last weekend and watched the semifinals, they probably know I'm a big Courtney Fegan fan. And she's not the tallest kid on the field. She's listed at 5'2" on the Salisbury roster. I talked at great length about her with Coach Nestor, the coach at Salisbury. And he had so many glowing things to say about her. They only take her off the field if it's because of a height differential type thing where they just need a tall player out there. But she will get the ball no matter what it is. She plays on the circle. She gets draws.
Yeah, 57 this year. And she's the prototypical all-around player.
She's very small in stature, heart of a lion.
But defensively, we saw her make key plays. Midfield on the right,
everywhere.
We saw her make key plays, or in transition.
And she's an attack, and she's everywhere on the field.
The transition was where I really was impressed with Fegan, on top of what she could do in front of the cage. As a foul on the draw, we'll give this to the North. As the North, in those dark blue uniforms with white numbers and a little bit of light blue trim, they're moving right to left. Opportunity in front, shot in the goal as Culver wastes little time, gets the tally to make it 7-3.
So she had 10 hat tricks this year. She's working her way towards one today. Also, against Shenandoah, 7 goals in that game this year for Sarah Culver. Fourth highest single game total ever registered by a Christopher Newport player.
Culver, part of that Christopher Newport squad we were referring to earlier in this contest. A reminder, coming up will be the D1 All-Star Game, followed by the D2 All-Star Game.
So this is Stopel in the draw control circle with Adamek.
Mac had some success last weekend in the draw circle.
She's not their primary draw taker, but certainly can come into the circle for Tufts. Again, she's just that prototypical do-everything player as well.
By the way, we were talking about draw winners. We forgot to mention
Colson, speaking of draw winners.
North side, Avery Murphy won 206 draws this year. Again, the record in Division III, which was set in 2014 at Albion, was 189. Now, let's be fair. They have changed the draw rules in the game that it's more like the men's game, much more restricted, which is great. But that's also why some of the numbers have climbed, because you have less players battling it out for the ball. It's going to naturally go
changed
to
it for the better,
people. Oh,
in
absolutely.
my opinion.
One of the best rule changes they've made. Absolutely agree with you.
So this is McGuire with possession for the South team with a 4-goal advantage right now.
Yeah, South playing pretty well here under Kim Williams. I'm sure Kim Williams will take all the credit. If you don't sense my sarcasm. Shot. What a great change of location there and angle for Gretz, who picks up goal number 2 of the contest.
South goal, score by number 10, Taylor Gretz.
And again, to me, the most impressive thing about Taylor Gretz is not her goal scoring, it's the ground balls and the calls turnover numbers on the year. I mean, to have 75 ground balls, midfielder. So no surprise in Jack midfielder of the year. And of course, it's Colson again. Colson's just that player that does everything out on the field, getting the assist again. So let's talk a little bit more about her. Of course, as we talked about, she won 2 national championships in her career while she was with Gettysburg.
Right.
They posted a 58-4 record.
Wow. Yeah, you sink your head into that one a little bit.
Division III Honda Athlete of the Year in women's lacrosse in 2018. The accolades just go on and on for Steph Colson.
And Colson, who had, by the way, underclassmen galore in talent, really stood out.
And she is going to continue her winning ways on the circle.
Yep. South continuing to put pressure here on the North. North's defense has seen the ball a lot in this contest. South got the lead 8-3, looking for more.
Colson.
Whoa, Colson ran into a brick wall.
I was going to say.
Gracie Oppie said no.
They're going to call it a charge against Steph Colson.
Well, Gracie Oppie was in position. So I think that's a good call. But that's about the biggest collision we've seen today, which is saying much because I think that would be about an average collision in last week's championship weekend. That was a tremendous weekend of women's lacrosse. Hope you got a chance to see it, even if your team may not have been in it. It was some great lacrosse to watch.
We're certainly going to talk more about the Division I tournament weekend when we are doing the Division I game later today.
We're just going to start consoling you now.
Not to mention.
That one sucked. Did that go in? No, it
did
went
not
off
go
both
in.
posts, I think.
I'll have a lot to say about Adelphi later on today, too, when we're calling the Division II
Talk about
game.
Another power.
But we have got it all day long here for you. Some of the best in women's college lacrosse, some of the best
Look at
coaches.
The speed. Oh, my goodness. Sorry.
What a treat that we are getting here today at U.S. Lacrosse headquarters.
I knew as an all-star game we would get some fun names and some, I was looking forward to it. But as I was compiling my notes and game boards, I kept thinking, geez, who do we not talk about in this contest?
It does not seem fair to have so much talent on the field, and I know that sounds like hyperbole, but literally if you look at these rosters and you look into the accolades, Colson wide open.
Colson with a shake and bake. An attack. She stabbed the left foot to the left and then broke right and froze her defender. And Colson now adds on to the 3 assists that she has with a spectacular goal.
So against Ithaca this year, she had a season-high 5 goals and 2 assists. Or actually, she had a season-high 5 goals against Ithaca, and then she had 7 points on 2 goals and 5 assists in the win over TCNJ. Talk about another powerhouse in terms of Division III women's college lacrosse. And you look at that stat line against TCNJ, 2 goals, 5 assists.
It's almost like we're going to try and shut her down. Oh, wait.
Well, and that was the problem with Gettysburg this year. I mean, if you try to shut down one player, there were 5 more coming at you.
Which makes
Coach Cantelli,
win over them.
what
so
she
impressive.
has done at that program I mean, one of the best.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they win back-to-back championships. That hadn't been done in a number of years. And really, for Wesleyan to knock them off, and granted, how much does Mother Nature play a role there? There were 2 significant weather delays. As trying to take the shot there was Adamak, and I'm not trying to blame that. I'm just saying, how much does it take it out of their rhythm? But you cannot take away from Wesleyan. And Wesleyan showed in the semifinals. They were a very good team.
They earned their right to be there unquestionably in terms of the talent they had. They were so cohesive.
Oh, pass in front. Great goal scored by Golden, who we hadn't had a chance to mention out of the Christopher Newport squad.
Starred in all facets of the game this year. 85 draw controls, including 11 at St. Mary's. 11 draw control wins.
Scored by number 9, Julia Golden.
Also the first captain to register at least 30 goals and 30 calls turnovers in a single season. And that's what you love. These players, they're not all about the offense.
Right.
They also contribute on the defensive side of the field. As a coach, there is nothing that you love more in the game to have those players who are willing to do the dirty work, the little things that may not be as flashy, that aren't going to make the highlight reels, but are so critical to your team's success.
Assist went to Sarah Grapevine out of Corning, New York, the Brockport senior. Not surprising she has an assist. If you were going to keep tally for the whole season, that's assist number 65 on the season. That's just a great distributor with now 93 points. She had 92 points this season, and 2/3 of them came via the assist.
Great work on the draw control by McGinnis. No surprise.
No surprise at all. As the South, look at the speed. Oh, what a save.
Point blank range and the save for Rosari.
Brianna Rosari out of Rochester, New York, went to Nazareth. Physical therapy major.
37 career victories in her college experience. That is so impressive for Rosari.
9.31 goal against average this season, but she saved 55% of the shots she faced. And in lacrosse, that's a significant number.
Unbelievable. When you think about all the shots that she faced.
Yeah.
And again, we talked about it already.
425.
570 career saves. That is an impressive number for Rosari, and we're seeing it here today.
Always keep your team in the battle. If your goalie can do that, your team is always in the game.
So even though the North finding themselves down by 5 goals.
Right. They're still in the game.
They have these stellar goalkeepers back there.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the problem for them today is they have a juggernaut offense that they are facing.
Yeah.
But everyone's here to have a great day, to have a lot of fun, and to see these athletes showcase their skills one more time, and we have absolutely gotten the chance to do that.
Interesting enough, the North, if you look at the superlatives from the conference's point of view, kind of had the most. You got the NESCAC Player of the Year, the Liberty Offensive Player of the Year, the LEC Midfielder of the Year, the AEC Player of the Year, the CAC Player of the Year, and the NESCAC Defensive Player of the Year, and the Empire 8 Defensive Player of the Year. That's 7 superlatives. And we're not talking all region. We're not talking all American. We're talking about conference. But the South's the one who has less of those, and they're the ones on top right now, though a nice little effort there from Swalskowski, Skidmore native, and aforementioned Liberty Offensive Player of the Year.
Second on the team with 97 draw controls, 50 ground balls, program's all-time goal record.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
They're going to miss her there. The Thoroughbreds will. And the foul will give a restart there to Sarah Culver, the mathematics major with a psychology minor. I'm fascinated to know what she'll do with that combo.
Well, the one thing you feel pretty confident about, these athletes, they've been successful in everything they've done, and that's not going to change. And the lessons that they've learned, the skills that they've acquired, not from the books, but when you play on an athletics team, you learn a lot more than X's and O's. You learn a lot about life and about determination, perseverance, success, achieving, teamwork, leadership. It goes on and on.
Swalskowski with the free position. It does not go in. It is saved by Namath, and she then keeps it from trickling over the line. We got about halfway through this second half. Again, running clock, 30-minute clocks. They're running. They're not stopping for anything. South's got the 9-4 lead. We got the D1 game coming up at 1 Eastern, and then the D2 game coming up at 2:30 Eastern. And I'm looking forward to both, but the D3 All-Stars have shown bright to start this day off. Nice pass in front.
Catch.
Oh, and she gave up the opportunity of taking a shot, did Bray.
I have been really impressed with her today.
Yeah.
She's been all over the place. Again, in Jack All-Conference first team, 69 goals, 81 points.
Mm-hmm.
What a day
Streaking
she's
down
had.
is Avery Murphy here, the Cabrini native. Or Cabrini native. Played at Cabrini. Oh, look at the steal. Nice back check there from Holly Height.
Well, and I love talking about defensive plays.
Yep.
So those are always the type of things that's going to get my attention. Draw control wins and defensive plays, and that was a monster of a play.
Height, again, out of Meredith College, part of the USA South. 2 members from that conference. Nice effort there to try and feed. Was that Marmo they were trying to hit?
That was Marmo out of Dickinson College.
Yeah, the Upper Saddle River, New Jersey. Now, this is the other thing I noticed, Monica. We talk about all the Baltimore area schools and teams, but there's a lot of New Jersey players on the field here today. Of course, New Jersey is one of those kind of hotbeds if you kind of combine it with Long Island.
Marmo, this is an interesting stat line here. She's a 4-year starter at Dickinson. She's one of 3 seniors to record over 100 career goals. Talk about that class right there.
Well, again, in the shadows of Gettysburg. So tough. Nice pass. Oh, just missed it. Did Bray.
Maddie Bray again.
From guess who? Lions. Oh, that combo has been dangerous today. Oh,
And
another
Lions
pass. Oh, great
read
defense.
so well by Sabrina Solo. We've talked a lot about her today on the defensive end of the field. Second team all NESCAC, but again, if you know about the NESCAC, like that's tough competition to be on those all conference teams. She was the anchor of Amherst's defensive unit. 30 ground ball pickups, team leading 32 calls, turnovers, and we're seeing it out on the field today here for Solo.
Turnover is going to go back to the south. I wanted to give Emily Stopel some credit, and she kind of released Green Kelly there on the breakaway. Roger Williams from New England, then Illinois Wesleyan from the Midwest. When it comes to the game, though, it doesn't matter where you're from. If you can play it well, you know where everybody's going to be on the field. Here comes the South again
Great
with a
job in
9-4 lead.
transition.
Bray
Oh, my
cannot
goodness.
find the net.
She's all over the field, though, and they're looking for her.
She's got 2 goals on the day. Let's not pretend she's
Well, and she's
not
doing a
playing
great
well.
job getting herself open.
Yes, that's the best part. The problem is she just hasn't been able to find the back of the cage. By the way, I'm going to lean on you a little bit here. What color are those nets?
So there's certainly a
Greenish?
neon lime green.
Okay. I thought they were only the warm-up nets, as I saw some white the traditional nets off to the side.
Well, I
in
love it
pregame.
because to me it's easier to kind of see in terms of the ball, and sometimes we've had
Good point.
difficulty seeing if the ball actually went into the
had
net
a
and
couple
things
of
of
those
that
last
nature. And so I'm enjoying
That's a good
the
call.
goals
Good point.
here
I didn't think of
today,
that.
and again, just so much fantastic lacrosse that we've seen. Some of these plays, some of the goalkeeping stops,
Yeah.
that opportunity we had earlier, I think it was Adamek on the goal, but the stop
Mm-hmm.
that she was not able to score.
Pass
What a
in
pass.
front.
Speaking of,
Did you just mention Adamek? Because
As if on cue.
Goal scored
call my
number 1,
name, I will
Dakota
take care of that.
And the interesting
Assist
thing
from
about
number
Adamek, and I
11,
talked about this
Kathleen
last
Yeager.
weekend, I thought that this was such an amazing comment from a head coach. I absolutely loved what Courtney Shute said about Dakota Adamek. She said that she's the player that makes the others around her better. And you look at the stat line for Adamek. She's the 2-time NESCAC Player of the Year. I mean, she's putting up the numbers, the stats, the whole line. But she's making her teammates better. Team before self, taking this
Yes.
team on her back when she needs to. And that was one thing Courtney Shute said to me. She was like, her numbers could be higher.
Yeah.
But she's doing all those intangible things that don't show up. And she's going to be a huge loss.
Your
to
numbers
that
can be
Tufts
higher, but your
program.
team may not be as good. Your numbers are lower, but your team is better. I'll take the second any day of the week.
Absolutely,
and twice on
but not
Sunday.
everybody makes that
Not
choice.
everybody
But
does,
Dakota
you're right.
Adamek, everything you need to know about her character right there is that draw did not go high enough.
By the way, the assist went to Kathleen Yeager, who we haven't had a chance to talk about today, the senior out of TCNJ, Whitehorse, New Jersey native.
One of my favorite things about Kathleen Yeager, and I talked about this last year in the National
In the
Championship
national
weekend,
right.
is she's not just a standout lacrosse player. She is one of those amazing two-sport athletes
Yes.
in Division III that we see from time to time,
Middlebury is full of them.
who also is on the track and field team.
And that's
And in 2018,
some life balance right there.
most outstanding athlete for indoor track and field for the NJAC.
That's that. I remember that now. I remember you talking about her, and that balance is so tough because the crossover season
exactly
is so difficult.
Exactly.
With
we
lacrosse
had a player
starting in late January,
last
early
weekend who was an ice hockey player.
Yes.
She had the same
goalie.
issue, and then to have to transition. And
American.
Those players, you can't say enough about them, and they're doing all that and managing their academic course load.
Oh, I'm not sure if that was a shot or a shovel pass from Doctor, but you're right. Back to your point, and there's also, by the way, fall ball. Unless you're in the NESCAC, there's maybe captain-orientated fall ball, not coach-orientated one, but you got fall ball too, and you got your course load, and then you're going into track and field for Jaeger in the winter months. And
also so involved in the community and doing great things on campus.
I'm getting tired thinking about it.
And you want to talk about prepared for what comes after lacrosse.
Absolutely agree. Life's almost going to be simple after you get out of
college.
college.
I think some of these players feel like they can exhale.
Yeah. And you do wonder, though, and this is a side note, you do wonder, how do they then, when they do go out into the post-college world, adjust?
Wow,
Shot and a goal
Culver.
from Culver. Goal number 2, and it's a beauty. I'd almost, if it was an ice hockey, call that a wrister.
So Culver, who just concluded her career at Christopher Newport, ranked 3rd with 211 career goals.
Don't call it a comeback. It's 9-6. North has cut the deficit. It had been 9-4. Now down to 9-6. Yeah, again, all of these players, we haven't even talked about everybody, and we apologize if we haven't gotten to the Nicole Clauders of the world, or the, we mentioned Emily Stopel there a moment ago, or the Maddie Hughes, and we're just talking about on the North squad right now. We haven't had a chance to talk about Mary Grace Doyle too much, or Lauren Bradshaw out of Western Connecticut. These players full of great talent out there, and it's fun to watch today's game.
Well, speaking of, Nicole
there
Clauder,
you go.
One of the most decorated women's lacrosse players in York program history, captain athletic conference player of the year.
Says something when you're in a conference with Salisbury and Mary Washington that you get player of the year. And York was York's men's and women's programs have come along so much in the last 10 years. It's so impressive to see. They are actually leaving the CAC.
Wow, that was really close.
Yeah.
Did not.
They will be leaving the CAC here after next season to join the MAC. If you don't think the MAC, Commonwealth, and Freedom are tough enough right now, York's joining the fray.
So that was Arbs on the clear.
Arbs is just going to jog back. That's going to be an offsides as a result. Oh, unfortunately on the far side, stepping over was McGinnis. Arbs was strolling back, and McGinnis got a little greedy. And I thought they got the memo. No whistles today. Apparently not.
Well, that's certainly how we like to see the All-Star games. We just want to see the athletes play.
I love it when I call
they have to keep a little order.
Yeah, I love when I call the
field.
basketball All-Star game. I'm like, free throws? We're shooting free throws? Especially late in the game? No, you need a little bit of order. I mean, we haven't had stick checks after goals. We didn't have a stick check in pregame, so we're having a little bit of looseness here.
Again, when you have a running clock, I don't want to waste any time here with stick checks.
Not
I
with
want to
stick checks.
see these athletes play as much as possible.
I agree with you entirely. By the way, we are, if you didn't know, we're here at U.S. Lacrosse headquarters in Sparks, Maryland, which is in the heart of Baltimore County, north of Baltimore. We're halfway between Baltimore and aforementioned York College, which is on the other side of the Pennsylvania state line. IWLCA has its headquarters here, and thus we're here with the IWLCA All-Star Game. She's Monica Moore. I'm Dave McHugh. We're here with
pass.
Oh, stolen!
It was a great idea, but it was read even.
Height, using her
by Holly Height. How many times have we talked about her today?
Her name is apropos.
I have been so impressed with her out of Meredith College again.
Yeah, it's that Meredith College group that I'm really impressed with here today. They're standing tall for a college, let's be honest, does not get a lot of headlines. They're not ranked in the IWLCA rankings. USA South is not one that gets talked about a lot on the national point of view, and they are showing their stuff here today.
Mrs. Lyons. Once again, she's had a great afternoon, as has this young woman right here, Bray.
Oh, Bray wanted it. I think that's our first shooting space violation. The other free positions have not been shooting space calls. That's our first one of the All-Star game. Someone was daring enough to step in front. Bray's going to attack. Great save.
Brianna Rosari, once again.
Rosari the save. Veith picks it up, by the way.
I can't say enough about Bray, though, because she has been so hungry today, and her teammates have been looking for her. they have played extremely well together, really trying to facilitate their offense, and it's paid dividends for the South.
What are we calling? Calling something. Let's give me a free position. I don't think it was shooting space because they had a defender on her hip pocket the whole way. 6 minutes left to go in this Division III Senior All-Star game. Again, just a reminder, it's all seniors and seniors only.
That was an amazing catch
Wait,
by
Adamek
Adamek.
one hand that?
Not in play.
Shot and goal. How about giving it up?
Play. Well, again,
to
she
Gibbons.
makes everyone better.
Jeez.
That was the comment. Not from me.
From
That's from
number
Courtney
3,
Shute.
Allie Gibbons.
Gibbons picks up her first of the contest.
Dakota Adamek.
She had 69 on the season. Adamek picks up the assist on what was a free position setup. She flipped it over, and suddenly it's a 2-goal ball game. And if you don't think they take this seriously, the North has turned it on to go on a 3-goal run here. Oh, I'm sorry. Make it 4. It was a 9-3 lead. Colson had an unassisted goal to make it 9-3, and it's a 4-0 run here by the North to make it 9-7.
And Adamek's going to head right back to the draw control circle. She's going to see Steph Colson.
That ball back.
Those two right there in the draw control circle when you think about the careers of those athletes.
Nothing against the South. I love Kim Williams, but she keeps trying to get an extra player out there on the field today. It's the 4th or 5th time the officials are like, you have one extra, right?
Well, but as we talked about, she's keeping track of all of this,
agree
as
with
is
you.
Courtney Shute.
Yeah,
They have no help.
Opportunity. They did not get enough gas on that one there by Mary Grace Doyle. Penfield, Pennsylvania native, played at St. John Fisher. She's already earning her MBA this year. She got a BA in finance and is on her way to an MBA. I believe she's already graduated with that master's degree.
Great shot selection. McGuire, she couldn't convert, but what great shot selection.
Oh, Rosario also shut down the angle. Rosario was at the top of her crease there and backed up, by the way, on the play by Veith. So the North gets the ball, and cast and all, Tice has just turned on the afterburners. She's crossing midfield with 4 minutes to play. The North realizes that they got a chance here.
Well, there's no tomorrow.
No, there is literally no tomorrow.
So you leave it all out on the field. We've seen
great.
that.
There may be some USA lacrosse opportunities or maybe some of those kinds of things.
At least at the collegiate level.
But I don't know if necessarily – right, I'm saying for the most part, lacrosse will take a major step back unless some of these players decide to go on to be coaches. And men, a lot of them would probably be great coaches.
Can you imagine?
Oh, Adamek just teaching about how to see the field and help your teammates be better. That'd be wonderful to listen to.
Sullivan.
Shot and a save off the cross stick by – oh, and the follow-up, though, is finds the net. And suddenly the North is fired up because they are on a 5-goal run and have got it to within 1, Monica.
And that's
Yeager gets the goal.
3 minutes to play this for South 9.
40 goals on the year for TCNJ for Kathleen Yeager. Set a career high with 34 ground balls, including a single-game career-high 7.
Well, she's not asked to do that. And she picked up 34 this season. I mean, that means she's doing something on a ride
well,
or
here's
something
the other
on that
thing.
end.
This is seniors, this is leadership, this is experience. She played her best lacrosse at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
26 goals, 12 assists in the final 8 games. 26 goals in the final 8 games of the year.
3.2 off the top of my head.
And, of course,
game.
this is coming off of
And
track.
5 points a game.
Everything that she's done with the track program
Well, that's the
at
thing
TCNJ.
is she's track at the beginning of the season. There's that crossover. I don't expect her to be at 100%. So the fact that she was able to find the gas to finish strong in the second half, hats off to her. This could go the North's way again. South picks it up. Bass, Sophie Bass, who we barely mentioned, the math major out of Albright, grew up in Westfield, New Jersey. Crosses in. Now she's got that's Arbs, who's now got to get back so they don't get called for an offsides. And staying back is Bass. Now Bass will enter in. 2 minutes. It's stall time for the South, is it not, Monica? They got 70 seconds on the possession clock.
We do have shot clocks today.
Yeah, we do have a possession clock, though. It has become absolutely pointless in this
we have not had
contest.
any shot clock violations. It has been a
We had a malfunction. We had one malfunction.
During the entirety of the game.
We'll play 4 corners here for another 50 seconds before the South will be more than happy to turn it over and hope that the North doesn't score in the 30 seconds, 40 seconds they allow them after. 45 exactly will be left on the clock if it were go all the way to 0 on the possession clock here. What a great game this has been, Monica.
Absolutely. Hats off to the players, hats off to the coaches for just managing this, getting everyone opportunities out on the field, letting these players be put in positions to shine one last time at the collegiate level. This is Colson once again. It's hard to believe after watching her play for so long that her college career is coming to an end.
Flag up with 62 seconds left. One advantage here is this is going to give the South a chance to maybe waste some time. The possession clock stopped at 16. Game clock continues on. Colson with an opportunity at the top. She's going to take it. Why not? Off the post! That resets the possession clock. The South gets the ball, and unless
that may
something
be better
crazy
than
happens,
scoring the goal right there.
It ices the game.
Certainly if this was not an all-star game, if this was a real game.
Uh-oh. Colson's going to draw some attention. Ooh, going to call a foul on that one off of the aggressive stick check from Murphy. Colson picks it up. I mean, the possession clock's on. There's no point. 25 seconds left. Look at that.
Nice catch
Bass
by
decides
Bass.
also to not attack the goal. Turned off, knowing they got a 1-goal lead. You tell me this doesn't mean something to the players to win this game.
There's a lot of pride on the line right now.
Absolutely.
And these players, they want to win at everything. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's checkers, they want to win.
5 seconds left. The South, which had a 9-3 lead, has to hold on as the North comes alive. The full ride is even coming out of the cage was Rosari, but it's not enough as the North will fall short to the South by a tally of 9-8. Hats off to Colson, who finished with a goal and 3 assists for the South. That's not to take away from Bray, who had 2 goals today as well. And, of course, on the North side, there's a lot of players to point out. Culver had 2 goals. Adamek had 2 goals and an assist. And that's just the stat stuff. The goalies stood on their heads for both teams. The defense was so good for both teams. And the midfielders, I actually enjoyed the play of the midfielders. We didn't talk a lot about it, but the transition game was really clean today.
It was everything that we expected and more out of an all-star contest. Everyone got a chance to shine. Everyone did their job. They're getting a massive round of applause right now from this great crowd that's on hand here to celebrate these young women for what they were able to do at the collegiate level, student athletes at their very finest. It's just been great to watch them play. And again, congratulations to these 2 head coaches.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see what their programs do next year.
A lot of smiles out there. Of course, wasn't anything on the line today, but just to have fun. But they do it anyway. South beats North 9-8. Kim Williams, by the way, gets the win over Courtney Shute. So we should note that in their career stats next time we see these 2 coaches. Wesleyan over Tufts. Maybe that's sweet justice because Shute got Coach of the Year this year with Middlebury's Livesay. Kind of keeping Williams out of the conversation. So Williams kind of has the last say here.
Well,
with the win, I'm just saying.
Again, what she did this season.
At Wesleyan? Oh, absolutely.
With Wesleyan to defeat Gettysburg again.
Yeah.
Had her son 2 days before the season started. Her assistant coaches had to step in for those.
For a couple of games?
She took 2 weeks off.
That's what it was.
2 weeks. I mean, amazing. Hats off to Kim Williams.
And a big hug
to Courtney Shute. Those 2, again, I cannot wait
Shute did have
to
an assistant.
see what they do with their programs over the next few years.
Can't wait.
Because those are programs on the rise in terms of Wesleyan and Tufts.
Colson is MVP for the South. No shock. Yep, we talk about 4 draw controls for Colson, as you were pointing out. That's the official stat line for the MVP of today's game. Congratulations to her.
That is the MVP for the South,
Yep.
and they are our winners here today. A nice picture there with her head coach. That's Coach Williams in the red shirt. Probably easy to recognize since it says Wesleyan. I love how she has so much pride in her program.
We might be blue, but I'm wearing red today. Forget it, people. Oh, and even a nice little hug there. So congratulations.
Very happy to see that. And, of course, Steph Colson. It is tough to see her graduate. I'm sure Coach Cantelli at Gettysburg feels the same way.
I think my friends at McDaniel would disagree with you.
I'm sure there's a lot of people
Dickinson
in Division III women's college lacrosse that are going to be happy to see her go. But I, for one, have really enjoyed watching her play. I've enjoyed watching so many of these athletes play throughout their careers and just wish them all the best.
Agreed.
In terms of their future success.
So that was 1 game. Are you ready? We got 2 more. And it's next up is D1. I mean, we're not – D3's good. They're great. But we got some amazing storylines in D1 as well. And they're next.
Across the board. All 3 games. You don't want to miss any of them.
No.
When I was preparing for these games, I could not figure out which one I was most excited about.
Agreed.
And so you don't want to go anywhere.
If you're enjoying this, whether it's live or delay, we thank you for tuning into the D3 Women's All-Star IWLCA All-Star Senior Game. We appreciate it. 9-8 the winners for the South, the team in white. We're going to sign off here on IWLCA TV. She's Monica Moore. I'm Dave McHugh. When we come back in about 15 minutes, it'll be North versus South, D1 style. We'll take a look at that matchup and enjoy it as well. Monica might have to do a little soul searching for this one. It'll be fun to hear Monica call that one. You've been watching the IWLCA All-Star Games Division III style first. D1 coming up. I'm Dave McHugh. For Monica Moore, we'll see you in about 15 minutes on IWLCA TV.